Giants. Daniel, is that you? Beat the Chiefs. Show me. If the Broncos and Russell Wilson can show me that they can beat the Chiefs, then I will start believing.
And the crowd up. And so are this defense, and Kansas City won't snap the ball again. The Denver Broncos have beaten the Kansas City Chiefs.
David Montgomery on the Lions. Former Bear, gonna make this his revenge game for sure. David Montgomery gets the touchdown that ices the game. No! And there's a flag. There's flags. There's flags. There's flags. There's flags. Snap. Hold. Kick.
Denver wins! Denver wins! Let's go!
They open. No!
What happened? Oh shit. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sunday Night Football. Week 13 edition. It is snowing in Buffalo. I mean, what is new? It's snowing in Buffalo. Of course it's snowing in Buffalo. Where else would it be snowing? Now, this game, my brother called me right before. I've been working like a dog because there's only two of us at the apartment I work at. The other guy's on vacation, so it's all been me. So I've been working a lot lately, and I've been trying to get on. And it seemed like every time I was trying to go live, something came up. But my brother called me at work, and he was like, "Hey man, I'm trying to place a bet. What do you think?" And I was like, "Josh Allen anytime touchdown, can't really go wrong with that in the snow." And he said, "What about Christian McCaffrey?" And I told him, I said, Christian McCaffrey's hurt. And I wasn't even talking about the play that just happened. Yes, just now, Brock Purdy pitched it to CMC, and he went down on his own. Non-contact injury. You hate to see it, but you just knew that Christian McCaffrey wasn't healthy. It gave Booby Mile vibes all season long. I mean, you're watching this guy play, and he's like, "Can an MRI fix your knee?" No, an MRI can't fix your knee. And Kyle Shanahan put him out there anyway. But they're 5-6. Their season's not over. And I continue to say, anytime that you're 1 or 2 games back with 4 games to go, it's not over. But because the record is 5-6, people like to think it's over. But here's my thing: if CMC is not fully healthy, Jordan Mason has been a big surprise to everybody this year. Why not just roll with the healthy guy? Now it's snowing really hard, so it's 14-3 right now. San Francisco's dug a hole, but they are driving, and I think that with them being forced to give the ball to Jordan Mason, I think it's better. And also the rookie that they drafted. I have been a huge fan of Leonardo out of Louisville, who actually just got the handoff. I wanted the Broncos to draft him. He is going to be special. He was my Devon Achane of last year's draft. I've been really good at nailing these fourth, fifth round running backs. This was my guy this year, and right now they actually have him in the game. 2nd and 10. It feels really important as we go under the 5-minute mark that San Francisco gets some points here. Purdy looking to pass, clean pocket. He pulls it back and then takes, not really a sack, but back to the line of scrimmage. He wanted to throw it, and he just held back. Didn't like what he saw. Von Miller, boom, right there in the podcast background. Hall of Famer, first ballot. And look at that. I mean, no quit. Von Miller wasn't really in the play, and it looked like he was going to throw it, but Von Miller just not quitting on that play gets him the sack. 3rd and 9, not really in field goal range with the way the weather's looking today. Purdy rolling out, running for his life, tackled again. This time it's the linebacker, and Buffalo can smell the blood of the AFC East division champions with a win today. That was Rosius on the tackle. We got Jinja in the chat, been working rock hard. You know it, brother. Uh, how are you doing, Ginger? Good to see your ass in here. Haven't seen you in a minute. Good to see you. Hope you had a good Thanksgiving, and that goes for everybody out there. Hope you guys enjoyed your Thanksgiving. If you didn't enjoy your family time, hopefully it's over for the year. All right, now here's the punt, and you're gonna get some good punts in the snow because that ball is gonna not bounce as hard as it normally would. And right there is a perfect example. They're gonna get it inside the 5, and we'll see what Buffalo can do. 98 yards to go, less than 5 minutes remaining in the first half in a really important game, more so for the 49ers than Buffalo. All right, well, today was a good day around the league, I think, depending on who you root for. Bronco fans, we kind of got to chill today. I'm glad because I was so busy. It just worked out that I would have been this busy on a Sunday that Denver doesn't play. So I am actually grateful for that. Thanksgiving football. Dallas got the win over the Giants, and they've won 2 in a row with really nothing to play for, but that's a sign of a well-coached team, even though no one wants to say it. Detroit. Oh my goodness. I can't even talk about the Detroit game. I have to talk about the Chicago game because I I've never seen anything that bad. Now let me just say, the worst thing that I've ever seen in my life as far as a coaching mishap on the field was Nathaniel Hackett. I was there in person. Nathaniel Hackett, Russell Wilson, week 1, returning to Seattle. The Broncos with 2 minutes on the clock, rolling down the field, and now here they are. They basically are at midfield, and they run a play, and next thing you know, it's 4th and 3, and you're thinking they're going to call timeout. They run the clock all the way down, and then basically kick a 67-yard field goal for the win, 65-yard field goal for the win. It didn't make any sense, especially because Denver was averaging more than 3 yards per play. They should have at least gone for it, and if they didn't get it, use their timeouts to try to get the ball back. But instead, they just killed the entire clock and then kicked a ridiculous field goal that Brandon McManus has never made at that distance. So it was infuriating, and I was like, I've never seen anything that horrible until Thursday. Nobody was more grateful for the Caleb Williams, Matt Eberflus mistake than Nathaniel Hackett, because you gotta wonder what the hell is going on. Now, I'm not a Bears fan, but Rick is. So I'm watching this game, and I'm gonna talk about this at halftime. We're gonna get into it. We're back from the commercial break. Let's see what Josh Allen can do. Ginger said, "Good brother. How have you been? Thanksgiving was all right. Got tanked. Did you have a good Thanksgiving?" I did. I did. I sat around with family and watched football, and it was it was just very simple but great. We drank this uh, hard cider. It was like an apple cider that was in a crock pot where you just scoop it out, and then we had some what was the whiskey we used? It's I'm blanking on the whiskey. It was a good whiskey. It's one of my favorites. Um, oh my gosh, it's downstairs. I'm gonna have to go look at it. I have There's a little bit left. 2nd and 8, Josh Allen throwing wide open down the field is Knox. Oh my gosh, he's still running all the way to the 44-yard line. Um, what whiskey is old granddad made from Lester? Did it, okay, I'm trying to remember. I remember that Basil Hayden. Basil Hayden. Thank you. Basil Hayden. and that we just kinda poured the Basil Hayden, and did you know that the stuff that's not good enough to be Basil Hayden turns into Old Grandad? I didn't know that. Old Grandad's the famous whiskey that you'll see, what's his name? Um, from Bad Santa, which is crazy because, Billy Bob Thornton was actually I was at work, I work at a 55 and up community, and this old lady was like, "Look at this." And she showed me a picture of her with Billy Bob Thornton. And she said he was in a rock band and he was like touring around the country for a little bit with Toby Keith. I was just like, You are the coolest grandma I've ever seen." But yeah, he drinks Old Granddad and Bad Santa. We got And Ginger said, "That cider jungle juice style sounds fire." Dude, it was. It was dangerous, but nothing bad happened. I was drinking it, and I was like, "I don't taste any alcohol in this whatsoever." I was like, "That seems dangerous," but it was weird. I didn't feel drunk either. And then I just kept drinking, and it was just good vibes all day. Nothing bad. Niners are finished. Oh, wow. Daniel Berry Sports calling it now. What's up, buddy? Ready for Broncos Monday Night Football? I am so pumped up. Should win versus Cleveland, but we all know that's not how the NFL is. But I think we're officially at that point as Broncos fans where I don't know, I can't speak for other Broncos fans, but at least for me, I'm at that point where I'm like, I feel like we have a better quarterback than most teams. Like, it used to be I mean, it was the same thing with the Raiders last week, like, the Raiders had the big punt, they had a big kickoff return, they had that halftime lead, like, I used to be like, "Nope, that's it, we can't overcome." But it's not just that we're, like, winning and in playoff contention. Bo Nix has, like, reinstilled in Bronco fans this belief that we're actually better than any team that we play, which is I mean, it's something that I haven't felt since Manning was our quarterback. So I as much as I'm like, yeah, anybody, any given Sunday, like I fully expect to win that game. I do. I just hope nothing weird happens. But yeah, it's like I go from watching Bronco games and then I'll watch Sunday Night Football and I'm watching, or even on Thanksgiving, I'm watching these quarterbacks play, and I'm like, Bo Nix wouldn't have made that throw. Bo Nix wouldn't have taken that sack. And it makes me more appreciative of what we actually have in Denver right now. Josh Allen hands it off. Oh no, James Cook for like a 20-yard gain. 153 left in the first half. Oh my gosh. I can't wait to talk about that Bears uh, moment. We have to. We have no choice. We have to talk about it. All right, Josh Allen, hands off. Wow, they just can't tackle. Another 10-yard gain. I mean, Fred Warner, it's crazy. This is what, in my opinion, is so dangerous about Buffalo, and this is why I personally I want Buffalo to take the 1 seed. I mean, look at the Chiefs, right? They get a blocked field goal against Denver, and then, okay, they stay undefeated. Then they get their ass kicked against Buffalo. And then in that game, Patrick Mahomes had the same amount of passing yards as the Steelers did against the Ravens that week. The Steelers didn't even have a touchdown there. I mean, it was like 164 passing, and Buffalo embarrassed them. And then the next week, Carolina had the lead with a minute left. They made Bryce Young look like Joe Montana. And then on Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, the Raiders were playing a close game with them. And I'm just like, I am not scared of the Chiefs. When you watch Buffalo play, they separate themselves from everybody they play. Like, it is not like Buffalo has played a bunch of close games. They are, like, clearly better than 85 to 90% of the teams that they've played, and nobody's beaten them since September or, like, early October maybe. Same thing with the Eagles. The Eagles haven't lost since late September. But yeah, I mean, the Bills to me are the team that you shouldn't wanna play. Even Baltimore. Baltimore has these games where it's like they they look beatable, right? I mean, they today, they lose to the Eagles. I picked the Eagles. I said the Eagles are gonna win. They're a better team. They're a more complete, well-rounded team. Now, Ravens fans get super fired up. They get so angry because they feel like we should Lamar should win MVP and we're the best team in the league. And I'm sorry, that's just not true. You might be the most exciting team in the league at times, but you're not the best team in the league because what makes the Bills so good this year is in the past, it was like Josh Allen had to be Superman and just find a way to get the win. Now Buffalo is like, they got a real defense. They got a good running game. And then Josh Allen, whenever he's needed, obviously he's still one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And he has no problem, just like against Kansas City, running for a 50-yard touchdown to close out the game. Like, he's still special. And so, I mean, the three teams, Detroit, Philly, and Buffalo, these are the most well-rounded, complete teams. These are teams that are built for January. Detroit and Philly will be your NFC Championship game. It's impossible for Detroit and Philly to play each other in the wild card round or the divisional round because they will be the 1 seed and the 2 seed. Mathematically, nobody's going to come close. The Vikings aren't going to win the North, and that means they're automatically a 5 seed. The Packers have a good record too. Doesn't matter. They're going to be a 6 seed. So, I mean, the NFC West, the winner of that right now has 7 wins, and that's Seattle. So Philly's what, 3 games up with 4 games left? They're not catching them. And the NFC South, Atlanta. I mean, Atlanta's not winning that division. Tampa is, but they're not catching Philly. So all that's left is the NFC East or NFC East, West, South, NFC South. Yeah, that's it. So no one's catching Philly. So it's a lock. 1 and 2 is a lock. And by next week, there'll be clinching scenarios, but we all know what's happening here. And the fact is there's only one team that can knock out the Eagles or the Lions, and it's the Eagles or the Lions. That will be your NFC Championship game. Meanwhile, Buffalo will be in the AFC Championship game, but I don't know who they're going to play. I don't know who it's going to be. Houston, not looking great. I mean, they're winning games, but they're just not putting teams away. The sophomore slump is huge. They almost lost to the Jags today without Trevor Lawrence. I have no faith in them. Baltimore, I mean, they would probably be the favorite at this point, but they look beatable at times as well. Um, and then Denver and the Chargers. I think those are sneaky teams. I like their odds more than the Chiefs. And if Denver keeps getting better every single week with the defense that they have, the top 2 defense in the league, and Bo Nix playing the way he is, I don't know if anybody wants to play Denver in the postseason, but there is one spot in the AFC that is anyone's to take. Whoever's going to end up playing Buffalo. Josh Allen taking a shot to the end zone, too high, incomplete. We got Casey in the chat. Hi, Jinja, Daniel, and what's up, Casey? And of course, you got to respect the Chiefs as an opponent because Patrick Mahomes is the back-to-back Super Bowl defending champion. But I have to say what I feel about the Chiefs, even if it doesn't make any sense. I would rather play the Chiefs than Buffalo or Baltimore. Shoot, I might wanna play the Chiefs more than anybody in the playoffs. Josh Allen, 3rd and goal, taking a jump ball, touchdown. Holland. I thought he pushed off. I thought he pushed off. Mac Hollins right there in front of the front pylon. I thought he got that separation by pushing off. 97-yard drive. Man, the vibes haven't been right for San Francisco since before the season started. That's not a push-off? Not a push-off? I don't know. Looks like a push-off, I guess. We're not calling that a push-off. What do you guys think? Was that a push-off? Doesn't matter. Extra point already went through, but if you guys got the game up, let me know what you guys think. That was such a that was such a clutch drive. Buffalo wasn't even trying to go on the 97-yard drive. They were just running the football and getting 20 yards at a time, 20 yards, 10 yards. I'm gonna log into FanDuel and see. I've been doing pretty good on FanDuel. I've been doing pretty good lately. I I've made my bets much more winnable. Uh, you don't really have the big wins, but $60 wins. I'm just taking the little dubs right now, enjoying the little wins. Let's see what I got now. Buffalo to win. Josh Allen, 225 passing yards. Brock Purdy. Oh man, that's not happening. That's not happening. Let's see. Jalen Hurts ended up having 118 passing yards. That's crazy. Saquon Barkley had 107. I did put a bet in that was Saquon Barkley to break the rushing total, the season total record. Um, I put it in October, and they're offering me money. Here it is: Saquon Barkley to break the single season rushing yardage total, 2,106 yards. Um, I put $15 on that to win at 670. And I also had at plus 700 the Eagles to have the best regular season record. Now, I think it's a good thing for Broncos that the Steelers won and the Ravens lost because that's a further separation. And honestly, who do you want to play in the first round? Do you want to go to Pittsburgh, play the Steelers, or do you want to go to Baltimore and play the Ravens? Personally, I want to go to Baltimore and play the Ravens. That's just me. And then I parlayed 6 division winners that I think. Texans, Steelers, Chiefs, Eagles, Bucks, Lions. Lions are going to win it. Bucks are going to win it. Eagles are going to win it. Chiefs are going to win it. I think the Steelers can win it. Texans are going to win it. So far that's looking good. That's why they're offering me money. Let's take a look at the playoff bracket. It is definitely updated with all the movement today. The Chiefs have clinched a playoff spot. Buffalo has a 99% chance of making the playoffs with a loss, with a win, and currently. Steelers now have a 99% shot of making the playoffs at 9-3, and they also guaranteed that Mike Tomlin will have another season above 500. Of course, a 500 record is impossible now with the 17 games, but a winning record is the main thing. And Purdy takes the hand. Oh, now he's going to hand it off and get a good little run here. And They're gonna call timeout, gain of 10. 49ers have to be aggressive. They have to. All right, let's take a look. So the Steelers are at 9-3. The Ravens are at 8-5. So the Chargers are at 8-4. The Ravens are at 8-5, and if the Broncos win tomorrow, they'll be at 8-5. This is going to get interesting because we we could jump all the way up to the fifth seed if the Chargers and Ravens lost next week and we beat the Colts. I'm scared of the Colts a little bit because they're only one game back, and they are going to probably win all of their games to close out the season. If you look at their schedule, it's it actually pisses me off. I can't believe anybody would be given a schedule that easy. Here is a screen with 22 seconds left to Debo, and to they're gonna they're gonna save that timeout. They're not gonna get anything. They're gonna spike it. They have 10 seconds. Yeah, dude, the freaking Colts have the easiest damn schedule to close out the season. Casey said it could have been a push-off. I need a replay to be sure. Yeah, it looked like one. All right. For those of you that don't know, this is the Colts' remaining schedule. All right. In their hardest game, this is going to be an important game, the Broncos. Because if the Broncos beat them, then that separates them by 2 games. If they beat the Broncos and Denver loses tomorrow, the Colts would be potentially the 7th seed just by next week. But then they play the Titans, the Giants, and the Jags. So it's like, yikes. Um, if Denver wants to make the playoffs, they have to win their next 2 games. They have to. And at least it feels that way. I've already done the math where it's like if we lose tomorrow, but we win the 3 games after that, we're still going to make the playoffs. But in order to not really feel like we have our backs against the wall, we got to take care of business, or it's going to get a little nerve-wracking. Here's Brock Purdy on 3rd and 3, taking a shot, caught, out of bounds. They're going to get a field goal attempt and make this a 2-possession game. This is going to be a 2-possession game potentially. This is a great play, great completion by Purdy. Standing in the pocket, delivers a good ball to Jennings and allows him to catch this ball and just get outside easily. Brock Purdy, those are the kind of throws that even in a down year remind me that Brock Purdy is a good quarterback in this league. That was not an easy throw, and this is not an easy field goal. 55-yard attempt. Nice snap. Kick is short. Short. And that will be the end of the first half. Wow. Uh, and the 49ers needed that so bad. 3-21. That would have been huge because the 49ers are receiving the ball to start the second half. Looks cold. What's the weather in Buffalo? It's 32 degrees. It's 32 degrees. It says that it's 10% chance of snow, but it's obviously snowing. Oh, I gotta check my fantasy football. Let me know. How are you guys doing on your fantasy football? How is all that going for you? Um, oh gosh, I'm getting my ass kicked. I'm getting my ass kicked. because James Cook has 101 yards and a touchdown. So I'm gonna lose. I should have started Sam Laporta over TJ Hockenson. That would have gotten me 10 more points. Josh Allen's only got me 8 points right now. So unless Josh Allen comes out and has a 20-point second half. Oh, I still have the Broncos defense tomorrow. I need James Cook to fucking stop for the rest of the game. Just put him on the bench. And I need Josh Allen to go and get me at least 15 more points. And then I need Denver's defense. Jameis Winston. I mean, we could be good for, let's see, what's the most points our defense has gotten? We got a 21-point game, a 16-point game, 2 12s. All right, let's say we get our like a 16-point game. That'd put us at 130, and I would only need 13 points from Josh in the second half. But James Cook couldn't have it sucks because my team's not really playing that bad. I just didn't make the best roster decisions with Brees Hall. I don't know if I can start Brees Hall anymore. I think I'm gonna have to move Bucky Irving to RB1, David Montgomery as RB2, and then I don't know what to do with Brees Hall. It's getting too close to the playoffs for me to be starting guys that are hit or miss. I need to go with the guys that are. Let's see. He had a 31-point game 2 weeks ago, but then he had a 9-point game, a 10-point game, a 12-point game, a 6-point game today, and then a 26-point game, a 21-point game, a 31. It's like it is. I mean, it is the definition of boomer bust. And then Tua, I should have probably started Tua. I started him last week. If I would have paid more attention to the weather, I probably would have started him. But at the same time, I didn't trust Tua in the cold. But he still had 365 yards and 2 passing touchdowns. So that would have, if I would have started Tua and Jaden Reed, I would have won this week. You hate to see it. But maybe the other guys lost in my league. Let's take a look. So I'm in first, 8-4, 7-5 is Caleb Williams' experiment. He's actually he's gonna win this week. Of course he is. And that means we're gonna be tied. And I guess next week would be the last game of the season. And that game, I think I play Rick, and the winner of that would be the first seed. This is going to break our podcast up. League. Where's the schedule? My team. Let's see. Week 7. Okay, yeah. So next week is standings, scoreboard. Okay, so I have 2 more games left this year. So I just have to win next week. Ooh, Josh Allen against New England. That sounds like a good. And then Brees Hall against the Rams. David Montgomery against Chicago again. T. Higgins against Cleveland. Devontae Adams against the Rams. T.J. Hockenson against Seattle. Ooh, Tampa Bay and Dallas are playing on Sunday Night Football next. Oh wait, no. That was week 16. Week 14. All right. Well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about what happened. All right. So I'm watching the Bears and the Lions, and the Bears they get down in this game early, but they kind of fight their way back into it, and they're in a situation where they drive down and score a touchdown. They're gonna win the game most likely. But if they just kick a field goal, it's gonna go to overtime. And as this drive was going on, it became a sure thing that the Bears were at least gonna get a field goal. They actually picked up a first down, and it was, I think, a player just running across the middle of the field, and you could just tell by the look of it that it was a pick play. So, basically, Caleb Williams sees that the Lions are in man, or somebody saw it, and they run a play because if you have a defense in man, that means that they're following the receivers around. So you take a receiver and you kind of do a pick play, and then you bring another over the middle of the field, and he's wide open. Sometimes they call it, sometimes they don't. A lot of times when they don't call it, it's because they had their hands in the air. But in this case, they called it, and it was a 25-yard penalty because not only did they not get the first down in the 10 yards, but they went 10 yards back, and then on the very next play, they take a sack, and they sack themselves out of field goal range. And you're thinking, "Oh my gosh, what a terrible sequence of events." I mean, they were just in easy field goal range, and now the one thing that Caleb Williams can't do is take a sack, and you have to know that. I mean, it doesn't matter if he's a rookie. A lot of people are like, "He's a rookie." You gotta know that. You gotta know that you're down 3, you need 3 to go into overtime. You're at that part of the field where you can't take a sack. And for the offensive coordinator, a lot of times when you're in these you can't have a sack type plays, you snap the ball and you get the quarterback rolling immediately because then you kind of pull him away from the pocket, buys him a little bit of time. But no, this was just standing in the pocket, taking a bad sack. It was just like you right when he got sacked, you were just like, you know that you can't do that. But that's not all. Because the Bears would say, "Oh, you're mad about that? Watch this." So they take the sack and immediately you're thinking timeout. No, they don't call timeout. I'm screaming immediately, "Timeout, timeout, 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 timeout. What are we doing?" I was like, "Okay, are they trying to hold the timeout?" And then they, like, come to the line, 15 seconds has gone on, and I'm just still screaming, "Timeout, timeout. What the are they doing? What are they doing?" And then Caleb Williams gets them lined up, and then they sit there for another 3 seconds, and then they snap the ball, and you're like, "This is the last play of the game." They had, like, 30 seconds on the clock, 40 seconds, and they get sacked, and then they had a timeout. They wind the whole entire game down, and then Caleb Williams doesn't even throw it to the end zone for the final play of the game, and then the game's over, and I was like, "That is by far the worst sequence of events I've ever seen in the NFL, ever." I don't know, I is the offensive coordinator allowed to call timeout? Who is allowed to call timeout in an NFL game? And I was thinking about this. The national head coach or player on the field. If I would have been a wide receiver, I would have called a timeout or a running back or an offensive line. The fact that everybody sat there and nobody called the timeout. The fact that Eberflus, the head coach of the think about this. How do you become a head coach in the NFL and you don't know to call a timeout in that scenario? Like, how does that even happen? How did you even get in this position to be a head coach when a 12-year-old playing Madden would have known immediately to call that timeout? I had the same scenario happen with my high school quarterback, DJ Gillen. He went on to go to University of Wisconsin, then he went to SMU. But I remember a very similar play happening, took a sack when you can't have the sack, called the timeout immediately. Head coach called the timeout as well, by the way. This is elementary stuff. And I there's only one logical thing that could have been the reason. They didn't know how much time was on the clock, which is crazy because you're on the game time drive. I mean, this isn't like you have the lead and you lost track of time. You're the team that's down and you are fighting. The clock is your number one enemy, right? I, how does that happen? It makes no sense to me. I, I was like obsessed with this play for like 3 hours after that game because I just don't know how something like that could ever happen to a quarterback. Not even a quarterback that was taken number 1 overall, that was supposed to be the next Patrick Mahomes. Forget about all that. Forget about it. I'm talking about a practice squad quarterback and an interim head coach. I don't care who it is. How do you get to that point of your career that you've been good enough to get to this field and play in this moment, and nobody knows what the hell is going on? And the offensive line or the tight ends or the receivers, nobody does anything about it. Running backs, everybody just sat there and basically just quit in the middle of the game. Nobody knew what to do. I've never seen anything like it. So yeah, you knew Eberflus was getting fired after that. I said it right there. I was like, I guess he wanted to get fired. I even tweeted it immediately. I was like, well, the Bears' whole thing about never firing mid-season's over because he literally made it impossible to not be fired after that play. So I don't even know what to say about it. Like, it's sad if you're a Bears fan. It's sad if you're a Caleb Williams supporter. It's sad all around. Like, it's just unexcusable. We got Bill in the chat. What's up, Bill? I was hoping you would hop in today because I got to show you the presents that I got for you. All right, here you go, Bill. So I was at an antique store and I saw something that made me think of you. This is a limited edition team collectible, and this one right here is the 1990 edition. It's the 1990s edition of the truck, and I also got 91. I'll take a picture. Not coming out as good. And 92. So you got 1990, 1991, and 1992. So, so it'll be like this. And the antique store must have had somebody pass away that was a Giants fan because they had all these Super Bowl collectibles, but I didn't buy any of them because it was the Baltimore Ravens Super Bowl, and I was like, why would Bill want That's like the Seahawks. Like, if somebody bought me, like, Broncos Seattle Super Bowl stuff, I'd be like, "Oh, thanks for the reminder." So although it was some cool stuff, I opted not to get it because of the situation. But, I'm gonna mail those out to you, Bill. Merry Christmas. Thank you for, always being one of our best supporters, and just wanted you to know that we appreciate you, and hopefully you enjoy that stuff and you can put it with your Giants collectibles. Here we go. Run right up the middle, and that is a good run. And Jordan Mason's down, so he gets up. Good run by Jordan Mason. He's got he's averaging 7 yards per carry. Oh, Von Miller jumped off sides. All right. See, I mean, great opening drive if you're the 49ers. Come out here, season on the line. You're like, "Look, I know it looks bad right now, but a touchdown and a two-point conversion, we got a 10-point game." And here, oh, the ball's on the ground. And when it rains, it pours. Running down the sideline. He's got blockers. Staying on. Oh, he goes down midfield. Buffalo, when it rains, it snows. Wow. When it snows, it blizzards. The 49ers cannot do anything right. Juszczyk could not get his hand on it. Benford takes it the other way. And the 49ers, who were just looking at making it a 10-point game, have come up and made another mistake when it mattered the most. And this is the kind of stuff that you can't have. It's the missed field goals. It's the fumbles. But you gotta credit Buffalo for punching that ball out. But Juszczyk, man, gotta do a better job of ball security. It looked like he was about to score. He was on the 1-yard line when that ball got punched out. That is a killer. That is an absolute killer. 379,768. 379,768. 379,768. All right. Let's see what's available. Bills' fifth drive. Amari Cooper and James Cook to catch a pass. Nah. James Cook to record 75 yards rushing in the second half. Buffalo Bills to win by 31 points or more. 21. James Cook to score 2 touchdowns and to rush for 150 yards. How much security has? I hate this because I'm going to be James Cook to score 2 touchdowns. Josh Allen to score 2 touchdowns. Josh Allen to record 25 passing yards in each quarter. Let's do that one. 25 passing yards in each quarter. $5 wins 19. And then let's go James Cook. Record 75 yards in the second half. Because it seems like everybody's been able to just run all over the place. And then we'll do 150 total yards, and 2 touchdowns. And see, Josh Allen to score a touchdown on the next drive is plus 800. Let's go. Boom. We're ready. Do they have to catch a pass? Oh, they just lost. Offense with 6+ linemen, 38.5% of their plays in the first half, they had 6+ linemen. 2 rushing touchdowns, 73 yards over expected, 110 yards rushing by James Cook. So why would they stop now? And they're going to run it again. James Cook staying on his feet. There's 7 yards. Yeah, I'm going to lean into my defeat. I'm playing a guy with James Cook, but I'm leaning in. You just gotta believe that James Cook is gonna have one of those games. He might run for 200 yards tonight. Brock Purdy, he looks miserable. He looks cold. He looks like he's wondering where it all went wrong, just like 49er fans right now. Here's a handoff again, James Cook, and this time he's gonna get, I guess, back to the line and huge check, slams his helmet down. Kittle has to come over and tell him it's gonna be all right. Look, the 49ers have to keep perspective here because nothing's changed. If the 49ers get the ball back and score and go for 2, it's a 10-point game with 5 minutes left in the third. If you just turn the TV on and it was 20-30 with 5 minutes in the third, you wouldn't think, oh, this game's over. They just have to keep their head in the game. And there's an incomplete pass right there. So that's going to end the drive. And now it's 4th and 2, and there's a decision. And based on the sounds of the crowd, I'm going to assume they're not. Yeah, they're running off the field. The crowd doesn't like it. I don't know. It's 4th and 2. You're at midfield. I feel like for Buffalo, they honestly, you could defend both. You could say, well, we don't want to give them any unnecessary momentum, and it's snowing. Let's make them go the entire distance of the field where punts right now are just kind of falling right into the ground. And here's another one that's going to take a really good bounce. And he shouldn't have done it at the 5. I think he thought that was the 1 because I think that could have rolled to the 1 or at least the 3. Bill said, speaking of cool stuff, I posted a present I bought my local bartender. She's a Giants fan too. I'm going to check that out, Bill. That is awesome. It is the holiday. Holidays are, that's what I love. I love getting gifts for people. It's one of my favorite things to do. Steelers tie record with 21 straight non-losing seasons. Rodgers considered a long shot to return to the Jets in 2025 for his 21st season. So, where would Rodgers go? Well, the only way to really know is to look at the teams that don't have a quarterback and are not picking in a position to draft like the top 2 quarterbacks. So, of course, Shador Sanders is probably going to the Raiders. As much as I hate to say it, Shador Sanders is probably going to the Raiders. I don't want it to happen. Cam Ward is probably going to go to the Giants. So, I mean, I'm ruling out the Giants and I'm ruling out the Raiders. Okay. But then as you continue, you got other teams. Oh, thank you. Thanks. Sunday. As you keep going, you have the Patriots, they have Drake May, Panthers, um, Titans. He's gonna go to the Titans, which is interesting because remember, the Jets also drafted Jordan Travis, and I feel like if they're not going to continue with Rodgers, they should put Jordan Travis in. I don't know if he's healthy yet from the injury, but they should put him in. Um, the Saints, maybe he would go to the Saints. I hope Ashton Genty falls to the Broncos. I would even be okay with trading up for him. Purdy looking to throw, caught. Oh my gosh, incomplete. Another drop. Another drop. Handoff, 2nd and 10, and he won't even gain a yard. 3rd and 10. How's DeMar Hamlin doing? What's his PFF grade? All right. Big 3rd down. Tough situation. 3rd and 10. Purdy is going to have to set up. Oh my gosh, now Kittle's dropping balls. And I think he could have got the 1st down. He had blockers, set up a screen. When it rains, it snows. The vibes are just not right. I mean, this is a very easy ball, but Kittle just turns to run before he secures the pass. Once again, something that you learn in Pop Warner. You got to look the ball in. Don't run before you catch the ball. And now a punt. And this is going to probably be dangerous. Here's the return. And luckily, the coverage team was pretty good for the 49ers. Buffalo will have good starting field position. Who was that? Was that Von Miller slow to get up? Bro, I would not have Von Miller playing in this weather. Von Miller, that better not have been Von Miller on special teams. No, that wasn't Von Miller. Man, Buffalo has a really good shot of winning a Super Bowl this year. Sorensen needs to be fired. What what do you think Kyle Shanahan's doing wrong as a fan? It's his 3rd season with the 49ers. The last 2 years, He was, the defensive passing game specialist and the, nickels and defensive assistant in 2022. The last 2 seasons, they were holding opponents to the fewest rushing yards per game and the 3rd fewest total yards per game in the NFL, and the team's 42 interceptions during that span were the most in the NFL, but the 49ers fired their defensive coordinator at the end of last year, and because last year their defense wasn't as I mean, it wasn't like what it was the year before in 2022 when Brock Purdy broke his elbow. That defense was insane. That team was like the Lions this year, like best offense and best defense. If Purdy didn't break his elbow, I really think the 49ers would have won a Super Bowl that year. But then last year they get back to the Super Bowl, but not with the same defense. And then they fired the defensive coordinator. And now um, the results just haven't been there. And fundamental stuff like Tristan saying here, we can't tackle. There's always a guy open. The schemes are horrible. He was good at his last job, but not as the DC. And some people are just good at one role, and then they're just not at others. Look at Nathaniel Hackett, trying to be a head coach. It was terrible. Maybe Cliff Kingsbury is a better offensive coordinator than he is head coach. I'm sure that's the same thing for specialist positions moving up to coordinator. Josh Allen, handoff, 1st and 10. Defense is there for that one. But they just gave up another big run. 8 minutes left. But if the 49ers can score a touchdown and get a 2-point conversion without letting Buffalo score before the 3rd quarter comes to an end, they can go into the 4th quarter in a 10-point game. But the vibes and the mistakes, it's all off. They need some big play to shift the momentum. They need to take the crowd out of it. And here's a swing. Oh, good hit. What a hit. That is the kind of hit that the 49ers need. Wow. That looked like he was going to get a 1st down. And that is just open field, amazing open field tackle. Third and 2, fake handoff. Oh! How is that not picked? How did Josh Allen not throw this to Knox? Look at Knox. You guys got to look. Knox was wide open at running to the flat. It was 3rd and 2. Josh Allen, I mean, that's the kind of throw that's going to lose him a playoff game. And Buffalo's going to burn a timeout. Give me a chance to finish my pizza. All right, 4th and 2. Pass, looking, wide open. Same play. Same play. They Knox was just wide open right there. Same exact play. And Josh Allen didn't throw it to him. He was coming across the middle. Linebackers didn't pick it up. And that was the play where I was like, why didn't he throw it to Knox? Well, the coordinator must have saw it and ran the same play. DMT isn't cool. First ever NFL jersey of mine is Rodgers before he smoked DMT and threatened to retire every year. Oh! No way! Whoa! Did you see that? Wow! That just officially was the coolest play of the year. If it wasn't already backyard football vibes with the snow, this is. Wow. Josh Allen, quick throw to Mac Hollins or to Amari Cooper. And then he ends up flipping the ball to Josh Allen. He was getting tackled and they were holding him up, and Josh Allen came back and he flipped the ball and scored a touchdown. Lateral back to Allen for the touchdown. Didn't see that coming. So DMT isn't cool. Said, is that Brett Favre in the frame? That is a picture of the Brett Favre's last game as a Green Bay Packer against the Giants in the 2007, 2008 NFC Championship game against the Giants, I believe. Um, my grandma had season tickets to Packers. My family's from Wisconsin, and it was too cold. It was freaking freezing. It was so cold. I was just a kid at the time, but um, me and my mom went to that game, and it's a special moment. But yeah, that is Brett Favre in the frame. 26766. Right. Josh Allen with the touchdown. Ooh, that helps my fantasy out. I needed fantasy football points. Mm, Josh Allen has 20 points now. Did he score did he score a touchdown? How did he go from 8 to 20 with only 1 touchdown? It says he has 3 total touchdowns. Oh, I must have not refreshed it. That happened. Man, The community of Buffalo deserves a Super Bowl. These dudes plowing snow. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Boom. Oh. Debo on the return. I still can't believe about that play. I can't believe they flipped the ball back to Josh Allen. Wow. Good starting position. Ooh, good defense by Buffalo. Tackle for a loss. If Josh Allen can get me one more touchdown, I'll have a chance to win. But I'm going to need the Broncos defense. I'm projected 141. He's projected 148. Purdy looking to pass, stepping up into the pocket, throwing, and Ricky Pearsall. But he just fell over for no reason. Man, the 49ers, they just can't. I mean, the drops, the goal line fumble, receivers tripping over themselves, missed tackles, blown assignments. The 49ers just like they need to make a play to just I feel like you gotta go for this. It's 4th and 4, 4th and 5. I feel like you gotta go for it. They're taking Brock Purdy out. You're past midfield. You're down 25 points. Like, are we trying to win? And it looks like he's calling a play. Yeah. They're going for it. Good. Good. I hate when you don't play to win. Here we go. Caught it. Ricky Pearsall down to the 20. And all of a sudden, no, I'm not going to make it sound like it's a close game all of a sudden. But that was a much, much, much needed completion. Where did DMT go? DMT, are you still with us? I want we're a tight community here, but I just think it would be cool if we had a regular and his name was DMT, so I could just be like, "Hey DMT, what are we thinking here?" Here's a pitch. Jordan Mason. Ooh, he got hit hard. 3:30 left in the third quarter. .320, 3:15, 2nd and 8 coming up. Let's see what Brock Purdy can do. Can he get a passing touchdown here in the snow? 2nd and 8. They're gonna fake the pass and then run it and touchdown! Touchdown Niners! Bang bang Niner gang. And it is an 18-point game. You got to go for 2. Make it a 16-point game here. Make it a 2-possession game. And for those that might be thinking that I'm cheering for the 49ers, I am actually not cheering for the 49ers. I am cheering for a good game. I am cheering for a good game. 49ers season's on the line. Uh, Buffalo's gonna win their division. Oh, come on. Why are you kicking the extra point? I feel like if you could have made it a 17-point game, I thought 16, no, it's 17. But still, like, make it a 17-point game. All right. So, I mean, I'm gonna say that we got a ball game because if the Niners score another touchdown, they're gonna go for 2, and it's gonna be 18 to 28. We're still in the 3rd quarter. It feels like there's no shot, but in all reality, I think there's a shot. I'm actually gonna see Buffalo is 19-point favorites right now. 19-point favorites. So, right now, they're up by 18. I'm taking Buffalo as and the over/under is at 50. I'm taking the over. $10 wins 20. Let's go. I don't think the 49ers lose this game by 20 points. I just don't. They could. I could be totally wrong about this, but George Kittle to score a touchdown, Jordan Mason to score a touchdown, plus 5,000. Put $2 in that. We got Liam in the chat. What's up, Liam? Touchdown San Francisco. What a Steelers game. Man, the Bengals are so bad on defense. And I think that was the first game this year the Steelers gave up 30 points. But yeah, the Steelers are getting it done every week. I'm gonna grab a Gatorade. I will let me leave you guys daydreaming. All right. We are back. First and 10. Josh Allen, 10 for 14, but 3 total touchdowns. And James Cook wrapped up. And all of a sudden, the 49ers are playing with a different energy. That was what they needed. That was the play that they needed or I guess the drive they needed to spark. They, I mean, it's up to Buffalo now to come out here and keep the foot on the gas. Shotgun, Allen passes, zips it, completed, and that will be a easy 5.5-yard pickup. So 3rd and manageable coming up. But Buffalo, the 49ers gotta get Buffalo off the field here. They have to. Get him off the field, score a touchdown, make it a 10-point game with the entire 4th quarter to play with. I think this could get really interesting if the 49ers come up with a stop. It was actually a 4-yard gain, so it's 3rd and 6. Let's see if they can get a stop. Sending pressure, quick throw, and he is gonna be down short, and Buffalo's gonna have to punt it because of the field position. All right. So here we go. 49ers getting the ball back. Brock Purdy takes the jacket off and, says, "Hey, let's get the offense together and let's all stop jacket off and get something done." All right, punter standing at the 20-yard line, and this one is off. This one will have a shot to be returned. Makes the first guy miss down the sideline, and he'll get taken out at the 20. Good return. Cowling is number 19. Did Deebo Samuel change his jersey number? I thought Deebo he's number he's number 1 now. Oh, okay. Tells you how relevant the 49ers have been. Uh, Maybe Deebo needs to change his number back to 19. I I wonder how many times I've been confused thinking that Deebo Samuel caught the ball when it was really, um so who's wearing 19 this year? Deebo said he changed the number because he wanted to use the same number that he used, in college at South Carolina, which was number 1. I didn't know that until just now. So here we go, 49ers, 23-yard line, 28 seconds. Purdy to throw. Oh my god. They are so lucky that didn't get picked. What are you doing, dude? Come on. I mean, that could have just been a deal breaker. That you could have just ended the game right there. What was that pass? Week 3, week 5, week 11, week 12, all besides week 12, close losses, and they, just couldn't finish the games. Maybe they can be on the other side of one of these. Here's a handoff on 2nd and 10, and a good run that's gonna set up 3rd and manageable, but we won't get to it until the 4th quarter comes to an end, or the 3rd quarter comes to an end. Let me get a ticker going here. Cheap viewers on Viewer Connect. Alright, looks like we got some spam in the chat. What's up, spam? Buffalo 28, San Francisco 10. Isaac Guernardo speeds in for the 49ers touchdown. I didn't even realize that was Isaac Guernardo that scored. I'm telling you, this is my guy. I'm gonna I wish I could go on my X. I can't. My Twitter, I have to have another Twitter profile so I can log in on the computer while I'm streaming because I don't know my login information. It's just always been on my phone, and I tried to reset it, and it's, like, impossible. So, I wish I could repost this right now and say I think I actually have that video, um, when he was drafted because we always stream me and Rick do the 1st round, but then I do, like, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, all the way to the 7th, and I remember when he was drafted, I had, like, a 2-minute rant about how good he is. I would have posted this or retweeted this with that. I'm just hoping somebody for the NFL is like, "Hey, there's this guy on the internet that's been right about some of these guys and maybe give me a shot." I don't know how to even get in that industry. From what I've looked up, you just have to know somebody. You have to you gotta know somebody. It's one of those industries. But that was just a great run by, Leonardo. Josh Allen's 7-yard passing and receiving touchdown capped off a 6-play, 44-yard drive. And now think if the Bills didn't score that touchdown, it would be an 11-point game right now. At the time, it just felt like that touchdown was, just piling on, kinda like the snow is. Um, but after that last touchdown by the Niners, it looks a little more important. Temperature has dropped to 29. It's actually supposed to get into the 20s in, uh, snow where I'm at in the next 3rd and 5, 49ers need this. Looking oh my gosh, the ball was hit. They're gonna call this a fumble. They're gonna call this a fumble and Buffalo's ball to 25. I thought it was incomplete. That can't happen. Let's see here. This is the first replay I've seen. Oh my gosh, he just lost the ball completely. One of those. It's the empty hand coming through. Uh, it's definitely a fumble. See, right there, man, the 49ers, they could have gone on a drive, scored a touchdown, and made this made this a 10-point game, and they just can't stop beating themselves. They really can't. 2 turnovers tonight, and then give Buffalo credit. On the other side, they haven't turned the ball over at all. They've played good. They've, gone on good drives. They've oh my gosh. And now you have 12 men on the field for 49ers. Like, how does that happen? How does that happen? Like, the attention to detail, where's the 12? No, no, no. We just counted. We only okay, they just picked up the flag. I was about to say, oh my gosh, the 49ers are they couldn't do that. Okay, here we go. Handoff, James Cook. Dude, you don't wanna be the team that follows up a fumble in the red zone with a penalty. It's like, how do you do that? Well, they didn't. So, good on the 49ers, I guess. Now here's the playoff picture, division leaders, the Chiefs, Bills, and the Steelers and Texans. Wild card round is 2 teams with 8 wins and the Broncos who will have 8. If they win tomorrow night, all 3 teams will be tied at 8 and 5, and then the biggest threat is the Colts with 6 wins and they're definitely in the hunt with the easiest schedule of anyone in the NFL. Josh Allen knocks inside the 10-yard line, and Josh Allen. Oh, and a snow angel by Knox. Bill said, "Oh, we still got 1/4 left." Oh, oh, hell, pretty. Come on. Here we go. James Cook, nowhere to go. I'm playing him on fantasy, so if he doesn't do anything, I'll be happy because I'm playing him. If he does do something, then I'll be happy because I bet that he'll score no touchdown. Either way, I win. 49ers down 18 points, and man, plus 19.5. I really thought they need to hold. They need to hold. If they're gonna score, it better be Josh Allen. And Josh Allen looking, stepping up into the pocket, now pumping, and he's gonna run it in himself. No flag. Yes! Fantasy! 28 points. And Josh Allen is single-handedly bringing me back from the dead. And I am now projected 146. My opponent's projected 146. Josh Allen with 4 total touchdowns has resurrected me. I went into this game with a 1% chance of victory, which is crazy because Josh Allen scoring 28 points shouldn't have been a 1%. But I think it's because James Cook had 20 points and Josh Allen had 8, and it was happening. Can't even see the extra point, but it was good. So it is time to update the ticker. Josh Allen. Call him Kent Clark. Clint Clark? Kent Clark. Because he is not Josh Allen. He's Superman. And on the other side, Brock Purdy is not Superman, which is really interesting because Brock Purdy, I mean, he came into the league when Jimmy Garoppolo went down against the Dolphins, week 12, 2022, and didn't lose a single game. And then goes into the playoffs as the number 1 seed at home and breaks his elbow against no, won a playoff game. I believe they beat Dallas in the divisional run. And then in the NFC Championship, he breaks his elbow. And everybody's like, man, there is no doubt that Brock Purdy is the guy for the 49ers. There's no QB competition or anything like that. But then there was still guys out there like Cam Newton that was like, he's a system quarterback. Um, they were just kind of taking away the credibility and making it about the roster. And I was like, it doesn't matter. It wasn't like the other quarterbacks were that good. It was when Brock Purdy came in that they were that good. So, I mean, it's the same thing with Tua. People are like, Tua is just a system quarterback, but nobody else has been able to run that offense like Tua. So who cares why you score 40 points? It just matters that you score 40 points. And then last year, Brock Purdy takes his team to the Super Bowl and plays a really competitive game with Patrick Mahomes. And then at that point, it's like, okay, Brock Purdy is the real deal. But now, because of the way this year has gone, I bet Brock Purdy and his agent are killing themselves, are just so mad that they didn't get a long-term deal done. Because this season has been one of those where you take a step back And now look at it. You got Josh Allen and Brock Purdy. Do you feel like Brock Purdy is worth the amount of money that Josh Allen is being paid? Personally, I do. But this is a conversation that we wouldn't have had if he would have been paid in the offseason. And it's one that we're gonna have now. And now people are gonna wanna see one more year of Brock Purdy before they pay him $60 million a year. So, oh my gosh, they just fumbled the ball. The 49ers just fumbled the kickoff, and I think the 49ers. Oh my god, Buffalo has. Wow. Deebo Samuel just fumbled the football on the kick return. Wow. Oh my goodness. I how did how did 30 not recover that? That's a clear and obvious recovery, and he's down. Look at this. 30. He's got the ball in his hands, he has possession, and he's touched down. I'm sorry, but that's 49ers ball. That's 49ers ball. That's 49ers ball. 1 second. All right. Commercial break, we're ready? Why are we at a commercial? Clark Kent, the reporter for the Daily Planet? Wow. I had to run downstairs and unlock the door because my, girlfriend has a little puppy, and somebody from work is gonna give it a home, so I gotta take this little puppy to work. Hopefully, it doesn't bark all night. Josh Allen? Oh, okay. I thought that was wait, so did the 49ers end up with the ball? Because that was I feel like that was a clear and obvious recovery, and he was down by contact. Oh my gosh, no. Oh, Josh Allen's not even in the game. Damn it! Shit! Holding offense number 70. Dang it! Ah, so let's see, if the 49ers hold them to a field goal and they scored a touchdown, it would be 38 to 18, and then it would be a 20-point game, so then they would need one more touchdown. They need, like, a pick six or something. Alright, Mitch Trubisky under center here, and they're gonna hand it off. Oh my gosh. Ray Davis with a, like, 10-yard run on 1st and 20. Can you have snow goggles on the field? Is that, obviously, you can have them on the sideline, but is there a rule about that? No, he's on the field. Oh, wait, no, he's not on the field. He's on the sideline. 2nd and 12 as we get ready to go under 11 minutes. 2nd and 12, handoff, and it's a snow game, so you really wanna. Oh, another flag comes out. You wanna take advantage of the weather and try to get a punch out, get or a slippery pass, something. Buffalo has done a great job of not turning the ball over tonight, but with this weather, it's hard to it's hard not to have at least one. But think about it. Buffalo being used to these conditions, it really, like, if anything, it's a home field advantage for Buffalo. There's certain, like, I guess, like, what I'm trying to say is there's certain teams, and I really can only think of Buffalo, where, let's say it's pouring snow. People would probably be like, "Well, that's a disadvantage for both teams," because, both teams are playing in these unfavorable weathers for throwing it, for running it, slippery, it's hard to kick field goals. But for Buffalo, like, it really doesn't seem like they are affected by it, which is crazy because it's like naturally it has to affect you, but it's not affecting Buffalo. Um, it's pretty remarkable. Of course, like, they play in this type of weather more than any other team, but even so, it is, pretty remarkable how they can play in these conditions. Now Mitch Trubisky's gonna run it, and he's no Josh Allen. Yeah, it's like Josh Allen comes out of the game, and all of a sudden, this is the type of offense you would expect. And now Buffalo is gonna try to kick a field goal here. If they could miss this field goal and they could score 17, I don't know how this game got so out of hand so quick. I mean, it was always kind of out of hand where they needed a touchdown to make it a 10, 11-point game, but now it's like they need 2 touchdowns. Snap, hold, kick is no good! No good! And the 49ers have life. The 49ers have life. 25-point game. Honestly, it's a 3-possession game almost. They need a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, and let's see, what would that do? 18, 2, 15, 17. A touchdown and a 2-point conversion makes it a 17-point game. So if they can get that and then get the ball back and score again quick, all of a sudden we got a 10-point game with 6 minutes left, and then you can use your 3 timeouts and naturally get the ball back and then maybe score another touchdown, make it a 3-point game with 3 minutes left, and then, kick the field goal to send it into overtime. if they can mess around and get a pick six or a fumble or anything like that and turn it into, quick points, they can come back. The fat lady is not singing yet. Did you guys see the hit that Trevor Lawrence took today by the Houston Texans, um, defender? I'm trying to remember his name. Uh, Al Alshier, I think I'm saying his name right. He was sliding. It was like a 5-yard, 6-yard run. He was sliding, and this guy ends up Al-Shiar ends up getting ejected for the hit because to me it was a bad hit. He's like rolling out and running, and it's weird because like when you're watching it in real time, it looked like a dirty hit, and I was like, he's gonna be ejected. But at the same time, like people take pictures of Trevor Lawrence when he's beginning to slide, and it's just like such a disservice. Like if you've ever played the game of football, you know just from watching film that there's certain like very misleading places to pause where it's like it looks like Lawrence is starting his slide 10 yards before he meets Shier. But then really if you hit play in 1 second, it's like boom. So it does happen fast, but I thought it was a dirty hit. And I just I feel like he made up his mind that he wanted to hit Trevor Lawrence and he just couldn't let that go. And now on the flip side of that, there was a game, it was Caleb Williams in Detroit, where they said the Lions were dirty for a hit, and I'm like, "No, no, 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 no. That was not a dirty hit." Because Caleb Williams a lot of quarterbacks do this thing where they, like, slow up, like they're gonna just go out of bounds, and then they take off running. Like, Caleb Williams had slid. He was still in the field of play, and he took a hit, and people were livid about that hit, and I was like, "I don't understand why." Like I don't see an issue with that hit. I mean, let me see if I can pull it up, but it was not and of course there was a fight and everybody got butthurt about it. Um, yeah, I thought this was a good hit right here. And then of course after the game, Caleb Williams in his press conference was like, "I don't know, like I didn't like it." It was just like, I don't know, like Caleb Williams, as much as like I had no opinion on him going into the season, like, I really didn't. I was like, there's a couple things that I was like, "I don't know about that," but, Rick kinda talked me into it, where I was like, "Alright, look, he's your guy, so I'm gonna want him to work out because I want Rick to be happy, I do." But I don't think I really like, the the personality that much, and now we're gonna have a punt return. Are you kidding me? Oh my goodness. Touchdown. There is a flag, there is a flag. Um, Here is the hit. I didn't appreciate the play. He was trying to go straight at my knee. He he didn't even hit him in the knee. I was frustrated about that one. I just, like, if you think the play is dirty, just say it. Be like, "I think the play was dirty." This whole, like, "I don't know, like, I didn't like it," but what are you talking about? The play is either dirty or it wasn't. If it was dirty, then just be like, "I thought it was a dirty hit. I thought that from my perspective, he was coming at my knee." I don't know why it's like he's, like, dancing around it. And honestly, when I watch the play, like, I don't see anything dirty about it. You're in the field of play. The defense's job is to send a message that if you're gonna run today, there's a price to be paid because we don't stop until the whistle blows. That is way different than Trevor Lawrence sliding and then getting hit in the head, in a clear play where he was giving himself up. It was just a totally different type of a hit, but we are seeing now that this week is coming to an end, that there's been multiple quarterbacks that have been upset, about getting hit. Some of them I think are rightfully so, and some maybe not. The player that, um, got Trevor Lawrence kicked out of the game today, he has another hit against Caleb Williams earlier in the season. And here's this one. Caleb Williams rolling out and then takes a hit. This is another one where everybody is really upset because they're like, this is a dirty hit. Let's see. Looks like he's in bounds to me, getting pushed out of bounds. I mean, have we really gotten to the point where we're upset with defenders for hitting quarterbacks? I don't I don't get it. Like I would want my defenders to do that. It's the same thing with the receiver going over the middle of the field. You're gonna hit him so hard that he's going to be seeing ghosts for the rest of the game. Or like Tom Brady says, where he's like, "I had a game plan around Ray Lewis." Like, I knew that if I threw it to Wes Welker over the middle of the field, there's a chance he was gonna be knocked out of the game, and we needed him. That's the way it used to be, and now it's like you actually have people getting angry for legal hits. If he's out of bounds and he takes the shot, I'll be the first one to be like, "No, he was out of bounds." But the whole goal as a defender is to hit the quarterback before he can get out of bounds. That is like the idea. Same thing when if they're gonna slide. You wanna hit him before he slides just to send that message to him. But, like, if they're in the middle of their slide and you do that, clearly a penalty. But if they're not out of bounds and you hit them, I don't have any problem with it. I don't care if it happens to Bo Nix. That's the way it is. You gotta maybe don't slow down right before you're about to get out of bounds. Ask yourself, why are you doing that? If the whole point is to get out of bounds before you get hit, then why, when it's time to go out of bounds, do you slow down? Unless you're expecting not to get hit. Look how fast he's. Why doesn't he run out of bounds with that same speed? Why does he slow down at the end of that? Why why slow down to go out of bounds? It makes no sense unless you're expecting not to get hit. And if that's what you're expecting, then no wonder the defense is trying to send a message. I just I feel like people are really upset over a couple hits, and I just don't see any real reason for it. The more concerning thing was why he didn't know there was 40 seconds ticking off and just ignored the second half. But I I don't know, man. It's tough. It's tough to maneuver these new rules and trying to protect the quarterbacks and then trying to also, as a defense, maintain um, a healthy fear. It's hard. 2nd and 9 for Buffalo here, and fake handoff. Trubisky, the ex-Bear, gonna pick up 5 or 6 yards. No, I can't wait to ask Rick about these hits, because of course, I feel like Rick's gonna give us an honest answer. Even though he's a Bears fan, I feel like he's gonna be like, "No, I thought it was dirty," or "It was clean." But either way, I feel like he'll tell us what he thinks about it. 0 accountability on his end for trying to get cute at the end of the play rather than running out. Wow, I do see one guy on X that is actually bringing up what I was saying. Number 1, 0 accountability on his end for trying to get cute at the end of the play rather than just running out of bounds. See, that's the thing, like, he slows down because he's, like, whether he realizes it or not, he's keeping the play alive. The possibility of maybe doing something, right? He got cute. That's what I was saying. Why didn't he keep running at that speed out of bounds? And then he wasn't hit on the knee. He wasn't hit on the knee. He was hit in the thigh. So waist thigh is not diving upwards. That's all I'm saying. 3rd and 5, and they pick up the first down, and that's going to be the dagger, folks. There's no way. The 49ers, they have folded. They folded a long time ago. And this is going to 143 points is what my opponent is going to end up getting. James Cook's out, and now it's up to Denver's defense tomorrow to get me exactly 10 points. If I can get 10 points for my defense, I'm going to win this week. And here's another run with Ray Davis being ball carrier. I feel like the Bills are going to end up scoring on this drive. '49ers down 25 points. 2nd and 4. Can the Niners get off the field? They're going to run it again. And 3rd and 2. James Cook didn't have any yards rushing in the second half. And when did Josh Allen get benched? Did he get benched in the 3rd quarter, or was it the 4th quarter? They just got first down. No, it was the 4th quarter. 17 yards. Damn. Josh Allen, he only had 17 yards passing in the 4th quarter. Because they benched him. Screwed me. 2 minutes, 35 seconds left, and this one is a doozy. Bills take a knee, and that is gonna wrap this one up. The Buffalo Bills win 35 to 10, a 25-point victory for the Bills, and the Bills still looking to get that game back that the Chiefs have on them right now. Of course, the Bills have the tiebreaker over the Chiefs because of the head-to-head win, but the Chiefs right now, a better record by 1 game. The Bills, they play the Rams, and then they play the Lions, and the Patriots, and then the Jets and the Patriots again. So for sure, the Bills are gonna win 3 of those 5, okay? And with the win today, they're gonna win 4 of their last 6. Are they gonna beat the Rams? I think so. That would be 5 of their last 6. So the Lions is the only game that is potentially gonna be a loss. So you're looking at a 14-3 record for Buffalo. If they beat the Lions, they're gonna be 15-2, okay? So all of a sudden, it looks like the Chiefs are gonna have to play all the way through week 18. There will be no resting starters. Not the way Buffalo's been playing. There'll be nothing to rest for because the Chiefs play the Chargers on Sunday night next week. If they lose that game, they're gonna have the same record as the Chargers. If they lose that game and Buffalo loses to Detroit, they're still gonna only be 1 game back. Now, I already told you easily Buffalo wins 5 of their last 6. So that would put them at 14-3. But if it's a tiebreaker, the Bills have it. So if the Chiefs lose to the Chargers and the week after that the Bills lose to the Lions, then they really just need the Chiefs to lose 1 other game. Texans, Steelers, Broncos, and Browns all on the schedule. And after struggling with the Raiders and the Panthers, getting blown out by the Bills and then a missed field goal got them a win over the Broncos, you don't feel like they're gonna win these games. I don't know. Like, I don't know if they're gonna beat the Chargers. I don't know if they can beat the Steelers in Pittsburgh. I don't know. I mean, and think about it. For the Steelers are like, no, no, no. We want the number 1 seed. That's what we're playing for, right? So if the Chiefs lose to the Chargers and the Steelers, I mean, this could all of a sudden be the Chiefs end up as a 3 seed because the Chiefs would then be with 3 losses if they lose to the Chargers and the Steelers, but the Steelers would have the head-to-head over the Chiefs. So if the Steelers end up with only 3 losses on the season, so you get what I'm saying? Like, these games are really important. The Chiefs could easily end up as the 3 seed. Right now, they're the 1 seed, but it's I don't think they're keeping it. I really don't. So that'll be interesting to see how that goes. And then for the Steelers, they have I mean, it's almost impossible for them to win out. All right, the Bengals, who they played today, they're gonna have to play week 17. That's gonna be a tough game. If I'm the Bengals, though, I'm probably pulling Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase out. And I was thinking about it today when I was painting. I go back and forth on it because I feel like as fans, you deserve to see your stars play, but at the same time, it's an investment. You have to protect your future. And if Joe Burrow were to tear an ACL in a meaningless Week 17 game, could you imagine the scrutiny that they would be under? Why was he even in that game? Or Jamar Chase? It sucks to say it, but it's true. So I don't know if that game is gonna be hard, but they have the Chiefs and the Ravens and the Eagles. I mean, that in itself is like 3 or 2 losses. So, I think the most realistic scenario is that the Chiefs end up as the 2 seed, falling to the Chargers, falling to the Steelers, falling to the Texans, maybe the Broncos at home, week 18, playing for the playoffs. But I don't think the Chiefs win out. And for Buffalo, not only do I not think the Chiefs win out, I think that they have 2 losses minimum. So, I mean, they put themselves in a pretty good situation where 14-3 is what 2 losses look like. But I think Buffalo ends up with the same record. And taking care of business today, only 148 passing yards. He had a receiving touchdown, a rushing touchdown. Um, he's just kinda been able to do it all, 2 passing touchdowns, 4 total, and didn't even play in the 4th quarter. So it continues to snow in Buffalo. Josh Allen is wearing the hat. They are division champions, and the future has never looked brighter for the Buffalo Bills. This is by far the most complete Bills team that they have ever had with Josh Allen. That was my major prediction going into the season. Josh Allen wins MVP. The Bills are a more complete team, and I'm gonna give some credit where it's due to Sean McDermott. Last year, week 12, they lose to Denver on Monday Night Football, and they fall to 6-6. Their season is pretty much over. They feel like they have no shot at making the playoffs. They fire Ken Dorsey, I believe, the offensive coordinator, and then the Bills turn their season around, win a bunch of games in a row, go to the playoffs, and play a competitive game. Ultimately, they lose to the Chiefs, and so did Baltimore. But to turn that season around the way they did, then they lose Stephon Diggs, but they're like, you know what? We're gearing up. We're going to bring in Ray Davis. We're going to draft Keon Coleman. We're going to make a trade for Amari Cooper. We're going to continue to build on what we have here. We're going to restructure Von Miller's contract and keep him, and we're going to just be in a more complete team. And McDermott gets all the credit in the world because a lot of people were calling for his job at that point. And now all of the haters have to just accept that he's a good coach. He is. He's got the defensive side of the ball down. He's a defensive coach. You know me, I'm kind of with Colin Cowherd on this. I think it's an offensive league today, and the most successful coaches are offensive coaches right now. I mean, you look at Kyle Shanahan and Matt LaFleur. Um, I mean, you could go down the list. There's only a handful of defensive guys: Sean McDermott, Mike Tomlin, John Harbaugh. Um, Everybody else really, and Dan Campbell. I guess he just comes across I guess he feels like a defensive coach, even though he played offense. But um, your Andy Reid's, your Sean Payton's, Mike McDaniel, these guys are kind of the future of the league. And yet you're seeing this year, and remember, it was like week 9, and scoring was down to its lowest total since 1992. So this year has kind of been an exception to what has been normal in the last decade. Scoring has been down, and all the defensive coaches are having success, right? Those guys I just named you are all having success, and the offensive guys are struggling. Mike McDaniel, Kyle Shanahan, a lot of these guys are struggling right now, while Mike Tomlin is flourishing. John Harbaugh flourishing. Um, Even Dan Campbell or Dan Quinn with the Commanders doing a great job down there with that program. So um, it's kind of an off year, but I think the NFL is kind of maybe going through an adjustment period where it's balancing itself back out to where it's just a more balanced approach than Tyreek Hill's down there somewhere throwing for 400 yards every game. And then 2019, 2019, I believe, 2018 maybe, the Rams uh, played the Chiefs on Monday Night Football in Mexico City, and there was over 1,000 yards of total offense. I mean, that's just like that's insane. So I think the NFL is going. It's kind of like I don't know if it's going to be a defensive league now, but it goes like the offense is really good, the defense has to catch up, and then the defense figures out what the offense is doing. And that seems like the kind of year we're having this year, where a lot of these coaches are going to have to get creative because the defense finally kind of made it to that level. They have found a way to stop these crazy offenses. Um, and Mahomes is having his worst year ever. The Dolphins aren't doing what we're accustomed to. 49, Kyle Shanahan, he can't get anything going over there. It's kind of a weird year. It's kind of a weird year. Now, let's see. The Buffalo Bills and why they're so impressive this year is because Buffalo, they're 13th in yards per game. Um, they're 3 yards better than Arizona. Now, I don't know if this updated yet, but they were averaging 345 yards of offense going into this game. But giving up, their defense has been 15, 329 yards. So that's not, I guess, great by any means. But if you look at points per game, Detroit, Baltimore giving up 31, 30 points. Buffalo's giving up 29 points per game. Okay. And this is why I think Josh Allen deserves MVP. Because as much as we're like, Buffalo's got an underrated defense. Well, I mean, no, not really. I mean, Buffalo's giving up the third most points in the league. So Josh Allen in this offense, without all the weapons and all the things people said about the fact that they traded down and let the Chiefs get Xavier Worthy and they don't have a real legitimate wide receiver one. Their defense is giving up 29 points a game, and Buffalo has still found a way to win all of these games in a row. I'm sorry, but like that's impressive. That is really impressive. Oh no, that's their offense. I knew that wasn't making sense. So their offense is right there. Only 2 points. Well, technically Detroit has 31.9. So 3 points. Detroit averages 3 more points. Baltimore averages 1.2 more points than Buffalo. In Tampa Bay, you got to give Tampa Bay a lot of credit. They lost Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, and they're still averaging 28 points per game. That's why, to me, it's a no-brainer. Tampa Bay is going to win that division. Atlanta is averaging 22 points per game. They're 16th. Atlanta is more like Seattle in Arizona, and Tampa Bay is like, no, we're up here with the big dogs. Now, opponent points per game. The Chargers and the Broncos are 1 point off. Chargers are giving up 15.9 points per game. The Broncos are giving up 16.8. That could be a lot better, but Denver had that one game against the Ravens where they gave up like 40 points. That kind of lopsided the stats. But still, even with that game, Denver's giving up 16.8 points. Pittsburgh's giving up 16.9. Detroit's giving up 16.9. Now, this is what I wanted to point out. The top 8 teams when it comes to offense, okay? Because It's normally an offensive league. The top 8 teams when it comes to scoring offense are not all playoff teams right now. They're not. And that would be the case if it was still an offensive league. So, top 8 teams, okay? Cincinnati, not a playoff team right now. Tampa Bay, not a playoff team right now. Detroit, Baltimore, Buffalo, um, Washington, Philly, and Green Bay, those are playoff teams. But if you look at the defense, the scoring defense, all 8 teams leading the league in allowing the fewest points are playoff teams. Chargers, Broncos, Steelers, Lions, Vikings, Eagles, Buffalo, Kansas City. Those are playoff teams. That tells you something about where the league is today. So, and those top 3 teams, Chargers, Broncos, and Steelers, those teams right now have the best defenses. Now, let's look at the offense. The Chargers in yards per game are 21st, 322 yards per game. The Broncos are 23 with 313. But really, they didn't get their offense going until week 4 or week 3 against Tampa. And then Pittsburgh is 19 with 328. So it's funny. The top 3 defenses are also like their offenses are right there, 19, 23, and 21. So they're very similar to each other right now. But Buffalo, they're going to be a tough team to bring down in the postseason. And the way I see it shaken up with the Chiefs losing the number 1 seed is that the Bills will ultimately get a first round bye. Because they're going to get a first round bye, they're going to the Chiefs are going to end up playing the 7 seed. And as it stands right now, the Broncos are the 7 seed. So I would like that game. I would rather go to Kansas City than to go to Buffalo this year. I really would. And then the Ravens would play the Steelers, and the Chargers would play the Texans. The Texans, I mean, really the 5 seed is the sweet spot because I don't see any way that the Texans aren't gonna be the 4 seed because they have to be. The 4 seed always goes to the worst division winner, and the North is way too strong, and then the Bills and the Chiefs with the East and the West are too strong. So whoever gets to be that 5 seed is gonna go to Houston and play the Texans. Right now, it's the Chargers, but if if Denver wins against the Cleveland, then they have their bye week and they play the Colts, and then it's Thursday night against the Chargers. If they can win their next 3 games, Denver will be the team that will end up playing the Texans in the wild card round. But it's interesting also to keep track of the Ravens because you can't jump to 5 unless you jump the Ravens. And with a win tomorrow, the Ravens and Broncos will be tied. And of course, the Ravens have the tiebreaker over them. So you need them to lose the game. So who's it going to be? They play the Giants on Sunday. So we're going to be huge Giants fans. Then they play the Steelers, which will be huge for them because that's the game that the Ravens could get back to being a division winner. And then they play the Texans and the Browns. So there's really only one game that you're looking at thinking the Ravens could lose that game, and that's against the Steelers. So we're going to be like the biggest Giants and Steelers fans. But if Denver takes care of business and wins their next 3 games, Browns, Colts, and then the Chargers on Thursday night, and the Steelers end up beating the Ravens, the Broncos will be the 5 seed, and they will end up playing the Texans in the first game. And that would be interesting because then the Chargers would end up being the 7, and the Ravens would still be the 6. So in that case, the Chargers would be playing the Chiefs, and the Ravens will be playing the Steelers, which just feels like what is supposed to happen, right? You're supposed to get Ravens Steelers in the wild card round. You're supposed to get Chargers Chiefs. And then you got the weird one with the Broncos and the Texans, the 2 up and coming teams with young quarterbacks. I like I'm gonna write this down so I can remember this. But none of it matters if we lose tomorrow, because if we lose tomorrow, then even making the playoffs becomes a 50-50 thing. Because the Colts, they're not gonna lose any. I mean, I don't know, they almost lost to the freaking Patriots today. But they have all easy games, right? They have the Jags and the Titans twice. Like, it's very, very easy. Easiest remaining schedule in the NFL. So, if we don't take care of our own business, the Colts are gonna end up being a 7 seed. And we know Shane Steichen's a good coach. We know Anthony Richardson is capable of winning games. Um, he looks a lot better since he was benched and brought back. And in the NFC, the Lions and the Eagles, that's your 1 and 2 no matter what. Nothing to talk about there. The only thing that is worth talking about, I guess, is if the Eagles could end up being the number 1 seed or not. And it's possible because you need the Lions to drop 1. The Eagles play the Panthers, then the Steelers, Commanders, Cowboys, and Giants. So that, to me, is a very easy stretch where the Lions have to play the Bills, the Packers, the Niners, who might still be trying to make the playoffs, the Bears, and the Vikings. So, I mean, yeah, I think the Lions are the best team in the NFL, but eventually you got to imagine they lose one of these games, right? One of them? And they didn't play the Eagles this year. So I don't know how that tiebreaker would pan out. But if you're the Eagles, you're hoping that they lose too and that you win out. But regardless, the Lions, let's just say it's Eagles 1, Lions 2. That would be huge because Jared Goff is a better dome quarterback, and if you could guarantee home field advantage in a dome throughout the playoffs, I think the Lions go to the Super Bowl. But if the Lions have to go to Philly, I'm taking the Eagles. I don't know. I probably would take the Eagles in that scenario just because of the way Saquon's playing and how that team's getting better. They just beat the Ravens. I mean, they're a really good team. So, if the Eagles were the 1, then the Lions would play the Commanders. The Packers would play the Seahawks. And the Falcons and Vikings would play in a Kirk Cousins revenge playoff game, and Kirk Cousins would end up going down with an injury, and Daniel Jones would come in, or not Kirk Cousins, Sam Darnold goes down, and Daniel Jones comes in for the Vikings, and he tells Kirk Cousins, "I will always beat you in the playoffs no matter what. Sit down, I'm your daddy," and Daniel Jones has a tremendous playoff game like he did with the Giants against the Vikings, but now it's for the Vikings. That would be wild. This is just gonna get really, really fun down to the wire here. But, I mean, if the Commanders were tasked to play the Lions are gonna win, alright? And the Packers would be playing the Seahawks, the Packers are gonna win. And then the Vikings, Falcons, I would really think the Vikings, but I think it's gonna be Tampa, and I think Tampa's gonna win for what it's worth. So, forget the Falcons, alright? It's gonna be the Vikings and Tampa, and I think Tampa wins. So what do you have left? You got the Packers, you have Tampa, and you have the Lions. And then the Eagles would play the Packers. The Falcons would not the Falcons, the Tampa Bay Bucks would play the Lions. So you'd have Tampa Bay and the Lions just like last year, and then you would have the Eagles and Packers. That's your divisional. Packers going to Philly to play the Eagles, and then Baker Mayfield has to go to Detroit and play the Lions just like he did in the divisional round last year in another hell of a game. But probably the Lions and Eagles both win those games. But that's my divisional round right there. Lions, Tampa, Eagles, Packers. All of it is going to be right here on Only Football. But tomorrow, I'm going to be going live early because it's Broncos in the Cleveland Browns on Monday Night Football. Bill said only because the Ravens can't kick for three. It's so weird, right? The one thing that you could always guarantee was that Justin Tucker was going to make his field goals. There's just no certainty in the world in 2024, right? There is nothing safe anymore. Uh, Besides the refs helping the Chiefs. That will always be that will always be a thing. But, yeah, the Broncos are playing tomorrow, so I'm gonna go a little bit early tomorrow, and I'm gonna break down all of these games today. Tampa Bay, getting the win over Carolina, that was important. The Rams over New Orleans, Philly over Baltimore. That was the 3rd time ever Saquon and Derrick Henry went against each other, and Saquon ran for 107 yards. Derrick Henry only ran for 82. That makes it 3 for 3 between games with Saquon and Derrick Henry that whoever runs for more yards actually won that game. That is the 3rd time that's happened out of the 3 games that they've played, and that was my prediction. Check the tape. I said, whichever running back runs for more yards will win this game, and we were right. I say we because nobody in the chat was like, "You're crazy, that's dumb." The Jets had Seattle, man. They had them. They were up 14-0 and then just opened the door for Seattle to come back. Indianapolis went for 2 at the end of the game. It was a ballsy decision, but I mean, the Colts, I don't know. I think New England is feisty. I think Drake May might be like I said, this was gonna be the best QB class ever potentially. We know Bo Nix is gonna be he's a guy. I feel I feel like there's only 2 quarterbacks that we know, like, okay, we know that that's a guy, Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix. Caleb Williams, we think we feel good about. I think the same thing with Drake May. I watched Drake May play, and I'm like, "There's something there." There is definitely something there. So, I think Caleb Williams and Drake May are going to be long-term quarterbacks, starting quarterbacks. So, that's 4 starting quarterbacks in the league. Um, 2 of them taking their teams to the playoffs this year, hopefully, in the Commanders and Broncos. And then next year, we get to see JJ McCarthy, who in the preseason looked really good. He looked really good. I don't know. He's still a wild card. He could totally suck, right? That's the reality. And then Michael Penix Jr., when we played Atlanta, we were blowing them out. Penix came into the game, and I was thinking, "Oh, it's a good thing that they didn't start him because he looked a lot better than Kirk Cousins." I think Penix is gonna be I don't know. I feel like I'm not ready to say he's going to be a guy, but I definitely don't think he won't. I'm like 58, 60%, 65%. I would say 60 to 65%. So, I mean, right there, you're talking about 5 of the 6 quarterbacks being long-term answers. I think that that is definitely the best quarterback draft class of all time, and we don't even know what Jordan Travis is gonna look like with the Jets. 'Cause Aaron Rodgers isn't gonna be a Jet next year, so they're gonna be in a quarterback competition, but Jordan Travis is who they drafted in, what, the 5th or 6th round out of Florida State. Like, I know that he's a good quarterback. We'll see if he's good enough to be a starter, but there might be something there as well. And then, not Spencer Rattler. Yeah, Spencer Rattler. Um, no, not Spencer Rattler. Who's the quarterback for New Orleans that was came in? He was drafted, this year. No, it was Spencer Rattler. I was thinking of Riddler, but no, Spencer Rattler, yeah. So, I mean, you're talking about 8 quarterbacks that are gonna be at least in the league, if not starting backups. This is an insane quarterback class, and then next year, it's totally different. I mean, the Giants are gonna draft Cam Ward at number 1, and then um, the Raiders are gonna get Shedeur Sanders because that's, like, just what the Raiders do, and after that, it's like, alright, well, where would the Patriots and Panthers aren't the Panthers are gonna roll with Bryce Young next year. The Titans, that's where Aaron Rodgers is gonna have to go, the Titans. I think the Giants should trade for Aaron Rodgers and draft Cam Ward and have Cam Ward sit on the bench for a year. If there's anything that we can say for sure about Aaron Rodgers is that when there's a quarterback underneath him on the bench, it's a good thing. Uh, you know, Jordan Love, for example. So that'll be interesting, but that'll all be tomorrow. I got a big day tomorrow, but it's even a bigger day because the Broncos play, and I'm just so pumped up about the Broncos playing tomorrow. I need my fantasy football team, which all I have left is the Broncos defense. I am down 9.7 points. So I need Denver's defense to get me 10 points tomorrow. Jameis Winston, he's always good for a pick or two, right? I need a pick or two. Jerry Jeudy said he wanted to whoop our ass, right? That was we drafted Jerry Jeudy, and he went to Cleveland, and now he wants to whoop our ass. Patrick Surtain, he's going to be covering him all night, um, and then we just got to do what we got to do against Nick Chubb, stop the running game. But I think it's going to be a good game. Um, but you guys can catch it here on the Only Football Podcast. Please like this stream before you guys head out. Just hit the like button. It'll only take a second and it helps us out. You can follow me at NFL with Kyle on Twitter or X, whatever you prefer. And you can follow the Only Football Podcast right here. Obviously, you're watching on Twitch, X, or YouTube. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you're just watching right now on the internet and help us out that way. But I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow for Monday Night Football, Broncos country. We got a lot to play for tomorrow, so let's just bring the energy. Let's bring that big Knicks energy, and let's frickin' get it done. Thank you guys for hanging out for Sunday Night Football, and I'll see you tomorrow for more football. Yeah!